Hello and welcome to Dire Bear. It's Tuesday night, so of course that means we're playing Valley by Night River City, our Vampire 5th Edition actual play. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, Jason, and with me as usual will be Double playing Walter, Sarah playing Emma, Eric playing Kyle, and Jeremy playing Egidio. And last week, you guys had a fairly busy night.
Boy, did we ever.
We're going through it.
So you met up in the North Barony, where Harmony had called you. When you got there, she had a little squad of Barony Hakim, who surprisingly were only there to talk. Other than one named Matthew, he might have wanted to fight,
You can try. I'll just flip him over again.
but he was clearly on thin ice, so he didn't start nothing. Y'all got called away from there. I believe it was Sammy that called.
Little Sammy had called and was just like, "Hey, I found something kind of weird. More weird than our standard vampire stuff."
Yeah, he had kept an eye on that house. Or no?
He was out to feed, or he was hunting, and he came across the fact of something that didn't look right, and then the person of the house just let it come right in. And it's just like, well, that's unsettling.
You know,
a whole parade of red flags.
We were discussing with Eric before a game whether or not a night had passed. Because Sammy alerted y'all to that house, and y'all did a little investigation. And then he called you back at some point because he was still watching it, and the people had come flooding out. So we may have had a day between there.
Okay.
No, we did have a transition. I'm saying we did because I had gotten up to hunger 4, and I had to.
Yeah, you had to go
Egidio for the fact of which I had to thank Egidio for the fact of which yes, sustenance.
Okay, yeah, then a night did pass.
Okay.
I think it may have been mid-session. Maybe
I'm
what
still
was someone saying.
Yeah.
That guy was very sad.
It was.
You gotta brag about it, don't you?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was the night after that meeting that he called you back. He had decided to keep that house under observation, and yeah, they were moving from out of that house into neighboring houses. Seemed like a bad situation. Y'all called up the allies y'all had put together, and the session basically ended with y'all pulling up and some stuff going down. Like there was people running between houses.
Basically there was two kindred running out, and Egidio popped one and downed it, and the other one's just. Did he not? I thought he popped one and it pretty much went down.
You downed the one that was running at the car.
Yes.
I think
and there was another one shortly after.
I believe Emma hit one with the car, and as the car is rolling over him, Egidio's just leaning out the window and caps him.
Double tap.
If I
make sure they're dead.
Yeah, if I remember, that's how that one went down.
Yes.
I was gonna say the first one was a silenced, muffled shot.
And one of the Banu Hakim had stood up out of the sunroof of their little Humvee, and I think had shot one somewhere.
Yep.
But basically, it escalated into 2 kindred have already been shot, and more are coming.
And the forces that you have on hand are yourselves, minus Kyle.
He's en route.
Oh, more than most likely, because as I told you last time, the second y'all got out of his hearing range, Zeke was calling him.
Yep.
Also, there's the whole established already fact of he has surveillance inside the bar.
Just sitting there listening to the.
So
He's on his phone. He's on his phone with the app.
y'all literally rolled in to have a meeting, and he just opened his phone, going, "What are you idiots up to now?"
Gotta be careful in the bar. There's always an os in the room. And Kyle.
An os in the room and a gangrel of the ceiling.
One of these days. Oh God. one of these days, Kyle's gonna install like a speaker to like do announcements. Hey, cut that out!
Masquerade.
No. Instead of ceiling cat watching you do you know what, it's actually your local gangrel watching you do you know what.
Hold a meeting.
Anyway, so the forces you have on hand, yourselves, the Banu Hakim,
Some of August's men.
and some of August's men, who were a little wide-eyed at seeing the Banu Hakim, but they have bigger things to worry about at the moment.
Yep. The directive we gave them was to fan out, and then we were gonna go in the central building.
Well, you're just on a street of houses right now.
Yeah.
You're like 2 streets over from where the domain ends. Because that's all just neighborhoods back that way.
And I can't stress this enough,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to roll for chaos.
There could be a little chaos.
Channel your inner rednecks.
All right.
Is that not what we're doing right now? Driving in a car, shooting someone as they go by, as we run them over.
Now I forget what we said Kyle was doing last week that was keeping him away.
Didn't he had the meeting? Did he have the meeting with the humans, the human gang people?
He did have that meeting that we didn't really get to because he wasn't here. That sounds right.
I couldn't remember if he had actually gotten that one finished setting. Let's ask Eric. Eric, had you finished setting up the meeting with the gang leaders?
As far as we had gotten, it was basically he said we need to meet, and then all the leaders going, "Yo, it wasn't me," and then it hadn't really come up since.
Okay. Well, you've had a lot of stuff going on.
So we could say that like he sort of did it in the background.
Okay, that'll work for me.
Saying he basically is flexing his influence to get the mortal underworld agents under control and sort of start the prep work.
Okay.
For the long-term goal.
So you're having this meeting at some neutral point, not your bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because too much of your own business goes down at the bar now.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing they bring up to you is they're seeing all this stuff about gang violence in the news, but they all know they're not doing it.
Yeah.
They don't know if there's another gang coming in that's causing trouble, or if the city government is getting ready to do some kind of crackdown, and this is just like they're just blowing smoke before they do something messed up. They are on edge because they don't know what's going on.
Hence the point of the meeting, to make sure I know where your all's heads are at, so we can try to get things contained.
And there's a little bit of them trying to, blame one another for causing it, typical stuff.
Yeah, the usual.
So you're flexing your influence with them. I guess, are you trying to establish yourself as kind of a go-between?
More or less. He's basically what he's doing is he's basically pulling his influence to become more of a power player, to where he's sort of like what's a good term for this? Have you played Cyberpunk?
I have not.
Are you okay? There's there's groups, or there's like folks in different areas of the city that are called fixers, that basically kind of, if you want to get like sort of under the table work done, you go through them.
In Shadowrun, that's the Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm following you.
Basically, he's leveraging that influence to sort of become sort of the fixer of the city. So where jobs that work in the underworld come through him.
Okay, I got you.
So he can sort of kind of control the flow.
It also establishes you as somebody in the underworld with them.
Yes.
As opposed to right now, where you were just kind of a former guy, and they could all meet at your bar to talk if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now he's like, there's too much happening. I need to get more hands on.
All right.
So he's still doing what he said he would do when it comes to with Abigail. He's not officially part of any gang. He's just the guy that comes through.
I'm sure she'll find that very reassuring when she finds out.
Yeah.
All right, so this meeting is starting to wrap up when you get a call from Zeke.
Okay.
You answered her, everybody. Do you excuse yourself?
Yeah, he'd go one moment, and he'd go step out and answer the call.
Hey, boss.
I just made $80.
So like all the guys, your buddies that hang out in the back, they gathered a bunch of people. I didn't recognize most of them, and they headed off somewhere. And a GDO gave me like $80 to not tell you. I don't know what's going on. But we probably need to have a talk at some point about exactly what all this is.
Yeah. There needs to be a talk indeed.
Also want to point out Egidio gave 50 and someone else gave 30.
I think Egidio was the one that
Walter.
handed it all. I think Egidio was the one that handed it all to him, though.
Yes.
Yeah, Egidio gave 30, Walter gave 50. I did go back and watch I went back and watched it.
I love that you specifically did that.
Gonna know the chaos these boneheads got up to without me.
Yeah, basically.
But last I saw them, they were heading like west down Danville Roads. I don't know what was going on.
Right.
They seemed concerned, though.
That's never good. Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
All right, I'm gonna finish closing the bar up.
All right. Appreciate it.
So a couple of the straggling gang members just kind of looking at you. Bar business?
Yes. Bar business.
But this meeting's wrapping up, so.
Okay. Well, you know the gist of it.
Yeah, we can go over in more detail exactly how you're ironing this out later.
Yeah.
But all right, where is Kyle going now?
Well, he checks his phone. He sees there's an oh so helpful message saying where they're going, the location, and all of that. And he's like, well, I guess I know where I'm heading.
Okay. So you head over that way.
Mm-hmm.
So cutting back to the rest of y'all. All right, you run over one guy. I want to say the Barony Hakeem took out the one that was the other one that was like directly in front of y'all. But that has made some noise. I know GDO had a suppressor.
Oh, great. I think he saw the battle, he came do it, and he was like, "Oh, I can do that."
Well, they're not quite that quiet, but it has drawn some attention. More people were stepping out of some of the doorways, open doorways of some of these houses.
Alrighty.
Are they looking at? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's no other immediate threats.
Not that are right up on you.
Are the people in the houses looking very, like, concerned, or, oh, I'm gonna get him next?
Give me wits awareness. I believe you had enhanced senses going.
I would like to get in on that.
Sure. Skill pile. Go ahead.
Not skill piling. This is what he does.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what your character does. I understand.
Shit, I fell into that trap.
No, but no. Anybody that's there that wants to, just look around can make the roll.
2.
4 successes.
Okay.
I'm sorry to disappoint you that I had a crit on my hunger dice, but nothing else.
Well, it doesn't count as a crit then.
The
Exactly.
night is young.
It is. In fact, it's not even night where I'm at. The afternoon is old, I guess. All right.
The night is young and full of terror.
So with GDO just using his regular eyes, and Emma with her enhanced senses, y'all probably, even with the difference in successes, y'all probably seeing about the same thing. There's a lot. These people look aggressive. Some of them look, you'd almost say, feral.
Interesting.
And they pause for a second, kind of take in, everything that just went down. And then some of them dip back into the houses, and a few more of them kind of charge the vehicles.
Oh, we've got more.
Quick glance over the shoulder. What are the other 2 vehicles doing?
The Banu Hakim have pulled over to the sidewalk. Bruce is still standing up with his rifle. The rest of them have gotten out of the vehicle. And they begin advancing towards one of the houses. The 2 women advance towards one of the houses. Matthew is staying on the ground. He's got sidearm out, and he is staying close to the vehicle. Kind of like they're using Bruce almost like a sniper, and he's kind of covered him on the ground. August's people have gotten out of their vehicle. Have you stopped, or are you still driving forward?
No, after she hit the guy, she stopped.
Okay. They have just stopped behind you, and they're waiting on you to do something to follow your lead, because they are supposed to be following y'all.
What do we want to do? Keep shooting? We want to drive into something?
2 houses are on the opposite side of the street or next to each other.
Well, there's multiple houses with open doors.
The way I pictured this earlier was like a cul-de-sac almost.
This one is just a decently long street.
Straight line.
This is just a neighborhood.
Gotcha.
Where the streets are just kind of in a line.
It's the tactical nuke. Well, the closest house that the Banu Hakim aren't going into, but it looks like it has an angry house guest inside.
Okay. The Banu Hakim are kind of moving to the right.
We'll move to the left.
So y'all are moving to the left.
We didn't kind of say pincher, so.
As y'all pile out of the car, August
Just
people.
safely park it on the side.
No, well, August parks to the side. Parks right behind you. His people form out. Did I give any of them names?
I don't think so. I would have
No,
had them on
sir.
my list.
So they're looking at you three. Well, the kind of spokesman is looking at you. The rest of them are like, guns are out and they're kind of lining up on the ones that are charging towards y'all.
Make them count, and she'll pull out her gun and start doing the same as they advance.
All right.
I don't think anyone. I think Egidio will say. I don't think anybody here is kind. So make them count.
Not so far, at least. If they're coming at us, right now it doesn't matter if they're kind or kindred.
That's true too.
Battle our consciences later.
No, it won't. Self-defense. I'm from Mexico.
They've gotten close enough now that you can easily make out their teeth. And they're striking you more and more as either frenzying or on the very borderline of frenzying.
Ooh.
Spicy.
So they're running in a straight line, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Because they want to get the most direct route. Okay.
Yeah, they are not strategizing at all.
Okay. I'm deeply triggered from stuff I have seen in my past. So I am going to shoot one in the head.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll.
4 successes again.
And your weapon does.
It is it's aggravated and it's a +3, I believe, because Stairs is a +4.
Right. So you did a 2 to hit him. So that's like 6 ag to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that first one goes down, and then August's boys, light up the one coming behind.
Okay, and then I think as Egidio turns, fires, and is like, I need some therapy after this, and we'll go into the next and follow with Emma.
Yeah, she'll just take shots as she advances, just probably straight headshots, because that's the quickest way to drop them if they are kindred.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also true for kind.
It is the quickest way to drop everyone, but a center mash shot would probably also drop a kind, but kindred will just shrug that off.
Now, August people don't seem to be using the incendiary rounds.
Okay. That's fine.
But yeah, so there's a hell of gunfire hitting the next one. And it may not be dead, well, until Sarah shoots it. But it definitely goes down under that fire. And you can hear, especially Emma with her senses enhanced. You hear stuff like breaking and in some of these other houses.
Is it just seeming to like a wave of noise moving down, like they've swept down the street so many houses?
It's just come out of several of the houses. Not all of them, but several of them.
Okay. Yeehaw. Advance in.
Okay, so y'all entering one of the houses?
Yep.
Okay.
Enter, I guess, the first house right here on the left.
As you're going in, the spokesperson for August's men, do you want us advancing into the house with you or covering the street?
For now, cover the street. They're probably going to spill out of the houses. If it gets too hairy out here, call us. I'll hear you.
I think as Emma's giving these orders, like Egidio's trained up at the house, and if just any sign of movement, I think he's on a hair trigger right now.
Kill Bill sirens.
Alright, so y'all enter the house. Hey, Vancouver by Night's in the chat. says, vampires.
Ah!
Ah,
Indeed.
Vancouver. Ah, Canada.
Canada. I'm
You're-
sorry. I'm
You're nicer
sorry.
than me. I was about to break out into blame Canada. Alright, so y'all are stepping in. You're stepping into the house. You don't hear anything downstairs. Upstairs, you hear, it sounds like somebody slamming against a wooden door.
Still just clear the bottom floor real quick, because they could just be being quiet, waiting for us to turn our back.
Okay.
Are the lights on?
No.
Turn on the lights.
That doesn't really do me anything. Yeah, I'm gonna turn on the lights.
The lights flip on without any trouble. The power has not been cut or anything.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I'm just like, not quite, police level sweep every room, but I am like, I'll look in, and every room on the ground floor, and then move up and up. I think if I see Emma go one way, I'll go the other.
Okay. Walter, where are you?
He'd definitely be bringing up the rear after everyone's done run in, because again, no one can see him, so at least that he's aware of. So if need be, ambush tactics. But he'd be
Okay.
following suit behind Emma and Egidio.
The danger Dorito, as it were.
The ever elusive danger Dorito.
That one's for my table specifically.
Is it bad that I really want artwork of Walter? Just so we could post it so people understand why we refer to him as a Dorito.
Just imagine the one character for dead, or the one enemy type.
The tank.
The tank.
Yeah, the tank. That big old son bitch.
See, I was picturing the goon from Popeye.
Oh,
could work.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto.
Not Pluto, the goon.
His name was.
Oh.
They were like these not quite human things. They were they were tall and very, very wide at the shoulders. And then had, they very much skipped leg day.
Alice the Goon.
Yeah, I could see that.
Alright, so y'all are sweeping the bottom stairs.
No basement.
No.
As soon as I hear like splintering wood, like it's given, then I'll just wait. Wherever the stairs are, I'm gonna be in a blind spot to just shoot them when they come in line of sight.
You hear the splitting wood. You start hearing people screaming.
Is there any heartbeats?
Give me a wits awareness.
That's not something I can get in on, so I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll pretty high to pick up heartbeats with all the noise going
I'm
on.
a little busy.
Yeah, she should still have senses on. There's a lot going on. Ooh. 3.
You're not 100% sure, but you think so.
She's gonna motion hold the fire.
And the people screaming definitely sound like people that are afraid, not like a frenzied kindred or something.
I mean, I could hear that part.
Yeah, that part you would hear. Walter would hear that part. The guys watching the street would probably hear that part.
In her most convincing voice, Emma will go up to the door and be like,
Up to the door, up to the stairs.
"Is the door hasn't splintered or anything?"
You're hearing wood crack. As you stand there, you hear a male voice. Saying to keep pushing.
She's gonna peek around the corner. Is the beating against the wood going from the inside or outside? Is someone outside of the door beating on it?
Yes.
Trying to get in?
That's the impression you've got. The screaming human voices are slightly muffled.
Okay. Peeking around the corner, real quick peek. Is it like someone's trying to beat the door to get a meal?
Yes. Give me a
What's awareness?
deck stealth.
Sure.
Ooh. Hey, that's your roll.
That's
You
my
got
good
this.
stuff.
That's your good stuff.
That's the good stuff. Six.
God.
Okay. The Kindred that's in the hallway throwing his shoulder against the door, very unaware that you're here. The door frame, like you can see the door is cracked open, but something is holding it closed. He keeps hitting it, and you can hear sound like a large piece of furniture scooting on the ground a little bit every time he hits it. You know, like they had thrown a dresser up against it or something in there. You know, you can hear a man on the other side, you know, telling somebody to keep pushing.
Gonna make like little fangy like motion at Egidio and then point down the hallway. And she's gonna wait for Egidio to get up a couple steps and then take a shot.
Okay. Give me a roll.
It's what, firearms dexterity?
Yes.
Also, I will take a shot like as soon as I see.
Oh, and the hallway is lit by one of those little lights that you can stick in a plug in that's got the little sensor on it.
Nice.
Oh,
So
light?
when it's dark, yeah.
Oh, neat.
4 plus the 4 from the gun.
Wait, how many successes do you have to hit? The 4 from the gun would count towards damage.
Oh, I got 4 on the dice.
Okay, that's what I hit. So
I
that's
got exactly 2 successes.
2 extra successes there. So 4, 5, 6. And you got how much Egidio?
2. So just
Okay.
enough to hit and then damage.
So you get the 4 from the.
3. I get 3, but mine both towards Rag.
Yeah, both. I assume Emma is also using the. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
y'all.
if it was Kindred, she pulled out that particular group of ammo.
Yeah, y'all
I feel
pace
like-
this guy then.
Yeah, Egidio would have given her like a couple of like mags of just like
She ordered someone.
specifically incendiary.
She ordered someone. She bought the gun that she bought, and then got another gun.
Alright,
So she's got it in multiple calibers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he goes away. As he stops pushing, you hear that furniture scooting, and the door shuts back again.
And Egidio will come up the stairs and go. Don't know who you are, but it's best if you just stay there and don't move.
Are you the police?
Yes. And he leaves.
Remain in the room. We're clearing the area. Do not leave the room until we come back.
What the hell is going on?
Developing situation. Please remain in the house. Remain calm.
Whisper to as we both go down the stairs, like, better at cop shit.
You cut off there. What was that?
I was like, you're better at this cop shit than I am. Did you watch a lot of cops?
I used to watch a lot of procedural dramas when I was younger and spent time with my grandparents.
And he looks back. Arde en el infierno demonio. Just flips the ashes off. Walks off.
Oh, this vampire doesn't seem to be ashing particularly.
Oh, well, the corpse.
Yeah, you remember it's probably pretty new.
It's fresh.
That's worse. That's
Yeah.
worse. And he flips it off and leaves.
Any other noise going on in this house?
In this house, no.
Next house.
And she'll come back down. When they come out, she'll pull the door closed. That way they know they've cleared this house. As
Yeah,
far
that's
as
fair.
she's aware.
That's fair.
Let's
There-
talk over it.
No. She'll let August folk out there know there's Kine up there. Do not engage.
The spokesman looks at you. Did they see anything?
No.
They were barricaded in a room, screaming for their lives. We'll take care of messing with their memories in a bit.
Okay.
We got bigger things to do.
Order of operation.
And you hear some gunfire going off in other houses. Bruce up in the up in
His
out of the top of the Humvee is
In the
shooting
Bruce
shooting about anything he sees step out into the street.
Has been enough time for Kyle to show up?
Kyle has just gotten back to kind of the bar area, or back to the domain basically. He's crossing the belt line. He's on Danville Road. He's crossing the belt line. Danville Road to the south.
Starts hearing gunshots.
Basically, it's like he's at this point he's hearing that first exchange y'all had in the street. Because while Egidio's gun is
It's a whole ass sniper rifle.
suppressed, yeah, there's no suppressing Bruce's gun.
Yeah.
Bruce was never subtle.
He can be subtle. In his mind. This is just not the time for subtlety.
That's fair. That's fair.
He's right.
Kyle just over there like, the sound of my people. Literally.
There's
Shot.
my idiots.
Shiloh perks up at the noise like it's a noise he's not familiar with.
Mm-hmm. It's like, that's where my idiots are. Okay.
I recognize that caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Otter's in the chat. Hey, Otter.
Hey, Albert.
Otter.
What up, Otter?
Greetings to ya.
So you guys are advancing to the next house.
Yep. Glance over. Have the Banu Hakim pretty much done the same? Are they?
As you come out of that first house, you see them going into their second house on their side.
Just matching him.
Works for me.
You go into the second house. You stop and listen for a second. Give me or I assume. I should say you go into the house. What are you doing?
Probably same order of operations as last time. If, listen, clear, floor by floor. If it's a multi-story.
Okay.
2.
And a Geo.
Yeah. 360.
Okay. You hear sounds like a sloppy feeding going on upstairs.
Both of us or just me?
With her enhanced senses, she'd probably hear it as well.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Too late for them.
Oh, still, let's interrupt their meal.
I will start this off this time, and I will go in quietly.
Okay.
Rather one of stealth.
Roll me your go quietly.
Yep. 4, 3. All that, just 4 successes.
It's not bad.
All right, you
It's
creep
not
upstairs.
bad. I have 9 dice.
It's horrible.
All right, so you creep upstairs.
10.
This hallway is only lit by the light coming from the bathroom, which is also where the noise is coming from.
Oh, perfect. I will. Then I will. I will gently beckon Emma and do this, and then as if she doesn't already know. And
She'll
I
play
will-
along.
Then, much like my ambush predator friend, that's probably still downstairs, will all at once startle and fire.
So yeah, you get you creep a little bit closer where you can see through the bathroom
I'd like to
door.
see the target.
You see the target. He's holding older, probably retired guy,
Sure,
gray haired.
probably already gone by now. HGD will make a note of that.
Clearly caught on the toilet. Pants are still half down.
We've all been there, folks.
Not quite like that. No.
But yeah, I will very just like one fluid motion, open shoot.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Oh, I'm rerolling that. Christ.
Check off a willpower.
That's better. Not by much. 3 successes. So 4 ag.
Yeah. You hit the guy. He screams and curses. It's the first time you heard one of these suckers talking.
Oh, you're capable of speech. Good to know.
This one looks pretty clear-eyed. But then he had just, basically been draining this guy. So.
Oh, you're capable of speech. Good. Now I'll scoot for Emma to get her shot off.
Hello.
He had cursed and kind of war faced at a GDO. Was getting up to like, and then you step away. He sees another gun barrel pointing at you. You see his eyes get wide as Emma pulls the trigger.
He gets 3 successes.
Yep, 3.
So he slams back against the wall. GDO put a big hole in him, big hole in his forehead now.
I will check the old man.
He is still breathing. He's got a pulse. It's a little weak. He's clearly lost a lot of blood. He looks pale. He's still got the puncture marks are still there.
I will close the puncture marks.
Okay.
A little weird.
What's your hunger at?
My hunger's up 2.
Okay. You have no problem controlling yourself then.
No, I'm just. This is strictly business right now. I am closing the wound. And he'll look down at this person who's quite literally on death's door. Maybe a little longer. Maybe Emma's a little concerned at this point, and he'll go.
We'll come back for him.
To tell me how it felt later, and we'll continue on to the next house.
So you just leave him laying there on the floor with his pants half down.
I mean,
Yes.
we'll pull his pants up.
You
before
are
we
monsters.
Geriatric, 30 almost. Fine.
Please get him sitting up.
Walter. Oh wait, is due a present?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can never tell when you're there and when you're not. When you've just nosed out. So you're still downstairs and you hear the commotion going on upstairs. But give me a wits awareness.
Alrighty, please hold.
While your party is reached.
Let's go, Dorito Poligro.
How's it moving? Luckily, I already have my hand over the awareness button. Eh. Crap. I'm re-rolling that.
Okay.
You can move one dice.
Yeah, you only do the one dice. You can't re-roll the
Ah.
100 ones.
If you think that's worth it.
Okay. So, hold on. What is it, a D10?
Yes.
Yep.
Eh.
That is a
Yeah,
success, though.
success.
So that gets you 2.
Woo.
You hear the sliding glass doors in their kitchen. Yeah, that lets out into the backyard.
Mhm.
You hear it slowly sliding open.
Do I happen to actually see what's opening it?
You can move over and take a look.
Yeah, he would just slightly shift.
Someone you don't recognize is opening it and stepping through. They have a pistol in hand.
Oh,
Well-
probably not.
To give my allies cover and for them not to be caught by surprise, my turn! Whack!
Hold on his ass.
Basically.
So from this guy's point of view, you just suddenly appear.
Gladiato!
Just out of nowhere, giant Dorito. Fist. Part of me would love to roll a rouse check to put potence into this. However, I'm already at 3. I do not wish to tempt RNG. Because they don't like me.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you would enjoy that.
We
But
still
alright,
got
give
a
me
meeting
a-
to go to after this. Come on.
Give me a strength brawl.
Yes, sir.
That's what that Larry I posted is what I picture.
I mean, 5 successes.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, you're fine. Probably snap the guy's neck. He's probably kind that you just snap his neck.
It's a responding officer.
He was a concerned neighbor.
Walter don't know. All he knows is someone just happened to slowly open a back door with a pistol drawn. It's just like, not today.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good. But not as good as you roll. Alright, so he takes a little superficial damage. But catching him by surprise like that, he didn't have time to brace up. So you knock him back through the door. He was only half through the sliding door. He goes back, spills back into the yard. Kind of lands on his back. He sits up, kind of going, "Son of a," and then he fires back through the door.
Oh, Walter's ducking and covering, just like, oh boy. Dodging as much as one giant Dorito can do.
Alright. So that'll probably be Dex Athletics, or his Dodge, listed separately.
As we're like buttoning this man's pants, like, oh, great.
Yep. By the time y'all get ready to start back downstairs when you hear this gun go off. So yeah, Dexterity Athletics. Go ahead and give yourself an extra dice. Because he's firing into a dark house. He's just firing in the direction he knows you've got to be.
Okay, and RNG says what?
2 successes.
Oh, that sucks. He also got 2 successes. I always let ties go to the player.
Just barely, the Dorito just gets out the way.
You feel the wind off of it.
It's
And the
like,
heat.
what do you call it? The superfluous parts.
Again, I love that last detail of and the heat. It's just like, oh boy.
In fact, it might even appear like a little red dot zipping past you. I'm not really sure what those things look like.
Damn it, tracers!
Are they using? Does it appear, or you said it's their feel the heat too?
When he says feel the heat, it makes me think of either A, a tracer round, or B, it's an incendiary. Probably B.
Incendiary.
Well, he's seen Egidio and Emma fire. Does it look
Yeah.
like their bullets?
Well, he's never seen those from the direction he sees this one coming.
He's never seen the receiving.
Yes, I've been behind the barrel, not in front of the barrel.
Because incendiary rounds, I don't think actually look like tracers. But...
Hears gunshots, and she's like, "Hey, hijo de puta," slink downstairs.
Yeah, she'll follow. Definitely using the wall to her advantage.
Okay. Kyle, you are pulling up in the neighborhood now. You see the you see the three, the party. You see Emma's car, a car parked behind there. On the opposite side of the road, there's an SUV parked there with one of the Bahu Hakim. Because I want to say you were at the
He was there.
in canon.
He was
Kyle was at the meeting with the Bahu Hakim, even though you weren't there. So you recognize one of the Bahu Hakim. One has got a big ass rifle, and he's standing up in the top of the SUV, kind of covering the street. You can see several bodies in the street. The fellow you fought at the mall that time that Egidio threw off the roof. He's standing with a pistol out next to the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
His head's on a swivel. It's like he's on lookout for the sniper.
Yeah.
And he sees you. You'd be pulling up in your truck, I guess, because I don't think you have the motorcycle anymore.
That's it's in the bed of the truck. He hadn't sold it.
That's right. Kincaid had expressed interest in buying. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Basically, he wants to sell the motorcycle and get a third dot in resources.
So as you're pulling up, he spins around. Just headlights is all he's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a few steps towards your car, gun out but slightly lowered. He reaches in and he whips out what you have to assume is like a fake FBI ID.
He just gives him a look. Where are my idiots?
Once he gets around, he sees it's you. He's like, oh. I think they're in the...
Good call with the badge, though.
It's been useful.
I'm sure it has.
And about that time, you hear the gunfire where the guy shot at Walter. And he points down, 3 houses down.
In that direction.
There's the idiots.
Ah.
My people.
And you can see August's men outside that house. They're also kind of covering the street.
But Walter thinking, "Ooh boy, can I do that again for round 2?"
Now, back to Kyle's idiots.
I love that's our label.
All right, so Egidio and Emma.
I'll roll on herself. I'm slinking down there.
I just want to picture us in a Charlie's Angel pose.
Something about how I could squeeze y'all's names together. Egidio.
The Chittima. Yeah. The bad school dropouts.
Sounds like a very bad Pokemon.
Emidio.
Now you're just making
That
ship
sounds
names.
like.
Now you're just making ship names.
Emidio sounds like a condition you'd have, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like something that needs antibiotics.
But all right, y'all are come downstairs and you see Walter jump to the side. You see the sliding door is open. You can see just a little bit of this guy laying on his back, out on the little patio. Leaned up enough that he can fire into the door. And he's now scrambling to his feet. What are the rest of y'all doing?
If Walter happens to see Egidio or Emma at all, he's just going to kind of glance up like, "Well, I got the bastard by surprise. However, I don't know if I can do that again." However, I don't think he knows that there's at least 2 more.
You're talking to us, and she's like aiming for the guy's knees.
He's not talking aloud. He's basically doing a stage whisper. He's not trying to be overly obvious.
Stage whispers are intentionally loud so that people can hear them.
That's kindred.
I'm going ahead and stating I'm making 3 rouse checks.
Oh, what?
Usual 3.
What are you activating?
Feral weapons,
Feral
potence,
weapons,
and resilience. No, sorry, toughness. Resilience is the one that boosts your HP passively.
I believe you're correct. I believe you're correct.
And I rolled 4 successes to
Okay.
stealth. So I am just kind of slinking around the long way, avoiding the fire.
I do take 1 point of hunger.
Not bad out of
No,
3
so you're at
rough
1?
checks.
Yes, I'm at 1.
Oh, pobrecito.
Yeah.
Emma, for the shot at the guy's knees, gets a 3.
Okay. He is trying to get out of the way. Let's see. Help me remember. Bestial failures only trigger if they have no successes on their dice, right?
They have no successes on
Okay.
the dice,
No.
and the hunger dice is a 1.
Bestial failures also trigger if you roll a 1 on the hunger dice and you fail a contested check.
Okay, and Emma had how many successes?
3.
3? He failed then, because he's got 2.
And he rolled a 1 in his hunger.
And he rolled a 1 on his hunger.
Oh boy.
Well, or the little skull.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, they added that in the errata for the V5 companion.
Gotcha.
I think we've got it pinned in the pin messages for this channel, too.
Sure we do.
Yeah, it was that graphic we pinned.
I'm just gonna keep looking at this lariat. Very clean looking.
Do I have a handout for bestial failures?
It actually never came up last game, so it wouldn't surprise me if you don't. But let me.
Well, I'm just talking about the in the official set that I bought from Roll20.
The cheat sheets.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Frenzy provocations. Would that be in there?
It's the character must act out a compulsion as the blood starts to subtly dictate their actions.
Okay.
For players new to the game or troops that want their characters less prone to acting on urges, choose one of the options below instead. The character loses a dot in an advantage, as on a messy critical. The character suffers 1 or more points of aggravated health damage. This result works well for bestial failures on resistance rolls, as the character breaks out in a bloody sweat from the stress. If no one in the troop can come up with a good idea, the hunger increases by 1. If this result would take their hunger above 5, the character immediately rolls to resist a hunger frenzy at difficulty 4.
That was a lot.
I'm looking at their compulsions.
And there's random compulsions too. Like you can roll for a random, which is 1 to 3 is a hunger compulsion, 4 to 5 is a dominance compulsion, 6 to 7 is harm, 8 to 9 is paranoia, and 0 is their clan compulsion.
Yeah, they have a variable clan compulsion.
It's one of them.
So I currently have that page up if you want to roll, and I can read what the examples would be, considering we're in a combat setting.
That'll work.
In a violent setting as one of the options.
And it's just a 1d10?
Yeah, 1d10.
3.
3. Hunger. In a violent setting, the vampire discards their weapon, throwing themselves headfirst into a grapple determined to feed.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
So he had just gotten to his feet. Emma shoots him. How much damage did you do, Emma?
I had 3 on the dice.
Alright, 3 on the
Yeah,
dice.
so
He had 2 on the dice. So you beat him by 1 plus the.
1.
So 5.
So 5. So he's in rough shape. But he goes stumbling at you.
Alright.
So he's attempting a grapple.
What's the contest?
Of a reaction, he just got shot.
Yeah, the beast took over.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that, but I can see him charging after Emma.
Yeah, he's going after Emma. Diving through the door at her. Alright.
He just has a little bit of distance cover, is all I'm saying.
So if you're wanting to fight back against him, it would be brawl. Probably strength brawl. If you're just trying to nope out of the way, dive away from him or whatever, I would make it dexterity athletics.
She's gonna try to know.
Since he's a little distance away from you, you got little options. And I am going to penalize him a dice for the fact that you specifically said you were aiming for a kneecap.
I'm going
Watch
to
out, baby.
3.
Let's see, and he's trying to heal. And I'll give him one extra hunger.
I'll give one extra.
Just make him a little hungry.
Make him a little hungrier. Yeah.
I figure if half of his dice are hunger dice, it also increases the chance that he could, critically succeed. Yeah. He got one success.
Then I win.
What did you get?
3.
Okay. So you get out of his way as he comes stumbling back in, trying to grab you. Now he's standing in the kitchen. Emma has basically, just get out of the way. You've kind of thrown yourself up against the kitchen table.
Yeah.
I hit 2 successes to shoot him.
Okay.
I don't think he would. I don't know if he'd be able to. Would he have been able to see me at 4 stealth?
You're right. He probably wouldn't have. So I'm just gonna say a baseline 2 successes to.
3 ag.
All right. Let's see. He's already taken some.
Yep.
So he goes down.
We're having way too much fun here, guys.
No, I'm not. Egidio will go pick up the firearm
Okay.
with the glove so that he's not, contaminating evidence.
Well, on that note, I do believe we've got a little bit more to be looking around. I have a feeling somebody's about to be approaching on us, someone that has a little bit more presence of leadership.
What up, bitches?
Emma looks a little offended, like, hey, I've been doing pretty good.
Oh, darling, I'm not saying that you haven't been. I'm just saying I have a very bad feeling.
Egidio opens the door and sees Kyle. Like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, the front door's been open this whole time. The street light streaming in. Suddenly, though, the doorway darkens.
It's Batman.
Kyle, you arrived at the house.
Hi.
Not the time, not the place. Leaves.
Grabs Egidio and pulls him back.
I will roll. I will contest this roll.
All right, let's do it.
Emma, just like, another time.
4 days on this.
Duba,
You're probably gonna win.
Duba, were you gesturing to us, or were you getting your camera to focus?
I think he's trying to get his camera.
Trying to get my camera.
Okay.
Trying to get my camera focused. Because, again, me nosing is just like, yes, the ambient light that is of Huntsville is not enough to light this room, so my camera's just like, ooh, boy, I'm just not going to focus on you.
Turn on a lamp.
How's that?
Well, it's focusing.
I got 2 successes.
I got 6.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna. I'm just going to contest it.
Yeah, as he just grabs Egidio by the clothing, pulls him back. Situation report now.
There's volley firing from everywhere. This entire neighborhood. We've got shit to do.
Good. Then follow. And then he leaves. Next house.
As you step out, you hear glass shatter across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Banu Hakim are over.
And you hear a gunshot.
In our direction?
No, best you can tell it's somebody shooting at Bruce.
Oh, okay.
It's a second story window. Somebody's leaning out with a like a normal sized rifle, not the monstrosity that Bruce is using.
Kyle.
Go ahead.
Kyle is going to just He doesn't have. He doesn't have. This is second story, and he doesn't have soaring leaps. That might be a problem.
Grapple the siding. That was a joke, and now you're considering it.
I am. But no, he's gonna.
Up.
He's gonna. No, he's gonna kick. He's gonna kick down the door and storm the house.
All right, this one's on the right side of the road, so you're running across the road. Bruce is starting to return fire. You see Abla and Anya. They're like up, they're like up against the house next door, trying to stay out of view and advancing, towards the same house that you are. As you're running across the street, the would-be sniper has spotted you.
Yep.
So he's gonna take a shot at you.
Okay. What am I rolling to counter?
Dex Athletics.
Dex Athletics. Alrighty. I'm going to blood surge my dexterity for this. I do not get any hungrier. That's 4, 5, 6. Nice. Ooh. 7 successes.
I don't think you need the blood surge.
Well, actually, I did because I crit with those blood surge
Okay,
dice.
fair enough.
So.
All right, so you're running around. He's taking a couple of shots. And yeah, every time he thinks you're going to zig, you zag, so he doesn't even get close to you. But it does distract him enough that Abla and Anya are able to get up on the porch of that house.
Okay.
And then you're up on the porch of that house. So.
Yeah, and then he just says, "Parisian Claire!" and just kicks the door down.
If you're doing that, you don't have to yell it.
Yeah, we just wanted to get anybody hiding behind the door. You got your potents going, of course, so...
Yep, and it's
Flies off the hinges.
And it's
There is no door.
Well, it's also enhanced because of my Desaris that's currently active. So I get it acts as a level 3 potence right now.
So yeah, that door just goes flying back.
Hits the kitchen, breaks the wall.
The door is now in the backyard. The door went through the other door and is now in the backyard.
Shallow's right behind you. And yeah, you go through the door.
Anybody in the living room that looks ready to tussle?
There's somebody dead in the living room.
Okay.
Pre-tussled.
Looks like a mortal.
Pre-tussled.
Wound on the neck,
Pre-tussled.
Pre-tussled. Yeah, he's heading upstairs.
That's how I treat my clothes.
Throw him on the floor, leave him for dead.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna head upstairs. He's gonna keep a pace for the Banu Hakim to follow. He's not gonna sprint past him because right now they might not be quote unquote allies, but they are operating under the same banner at the moment.
Yes, I believe the deal you cut was you are allies against the Banu Hakim. Once that threat is neutralized, well, politics are politics. Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Very different fight right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll say if we're fighting
we'd be rolling new
Banu
characters.
Hakim, then
Oh,
yeah, it's true. Let's say, I mean, what do you mean rolling new characters? I already have one, but.
Alright, so you're heading up the stairs.
Yep.
Across the road, Emma, Egidio, and Walter, what are y'all doing?
I think they've got that over there.
Yeah.
Looking next house.
As you approach that house, you hear a... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Walter. Or Duba.
Oh no, part of me is just sitting here wondering, like, should I tempt fate to obfuscate the back out of existence?
Go for it.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you're still kind of in the other house.
Ooh, wait, no, you're hungry. And if you
Yeah,
do
I'm
the
a little
fancy
hungry.
obfuscate, I mean, no one else is really hiding, so
Just go eat a
that's-
Bali. Jesus.
If
killed
I
them
come
all.
across a Bali, if I come across a Bali in the next house, I'll probably drain it. But anyway,
Is there any that?
I'm sorry. Drain?
There are certain rules for that one, my
Yeah,
friend.
there's roles
Yeah.
involved in that. Take a sneak a snack, but
Fair-
don't diablerize it.
no.
Oh man, I just random thought. Walter suddenly, here is a demon. Boom.
The hell,
What?
Dorito.
Walter's got the devil in him.
The hell, Dorito?
Possibly, literally.
Extra spicy Dorito.
We
I heard
agreed,
y'all want
Taki.
that spicy flavor.
we agreed that Walter was Cool Ranch.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if he diablerizes a Bali,
he becomes a Taki.
yeah.
That's a little racist.
Anyway, as y'all are going,
It's a spicier than a Dorito.
Anyway.
anyway, y'all are stepping into that house. Or as you're getting him on the porch. Emma, since you've got the enhanced senses going, give me a wits awareness. I mean, you all hear, not Kyle, but the rest of you all hear a certain amount of this, but
3.
3 successes.
Also, point of order. Since we're breaching and clearing houses, Kyle would activate Eyes of the Beast.
Okay,
So he has perfect night vision in case anyone's trying to hide in the darkness.
fair enough. And that's not one that requires a rouse check, if I remember right.
No, it's not. It's just a free use power.
Uh,
Yeah, all it does is gives you like perfect night vision
Mhm.
Got dark vision now.
and gives you a bonus to
What's that
intimidation against
cover?
mortals.
you're not dealing with a lot of those right now.
No, but he is at the moment an angry wolf man with glowing red eyes. So take your pick.
Do with that as you will.
Anyway, so what you hear, you hear a sort of feral growl. I mean, like some of these frenzying guys have been kind of making already. But it changes to pain. And then you hear somebody running down the stairs. Emma, with your success, everybody kind of hears that. Because that's pretty loud. With your successes, Emma, what you hear kind of quieter than that, and kind of under that, somebody upstairs is praying.
Probably mortal.
I was wondering when you were going to include this mechanic in a vampire game. You don't see it too often.
Yeah, well, there's a
Alright.
reason for that.
Let's
Ah,
open the door. Or you said it sounded like they were coming downstairs.
Yeah, this door is already open where it's already been busted open.
Then if it all of these are probably similar layout. Does the downstairs?
Sometimes they're mirrored. There's a couple different designs, and some of them are mirrored.
does
This
the
neighborhood is
downstairs
this neighborhood isn't quite one of those where all the houses are identical.
on the last ones have the upstairs stairs kind of terminated near the door, or
Yeah, this one's still like that though.
okay. Wait to see if the person runs out the door. They can get him then.
Okay, so y'all just kind of sit and wait for him. He comes running out straight for the open door. Looks like he's in a fear frenzy.
Yep, and he's getting shot for it.
Yep.
All right, give me a roll.
His fault. Oh, your fault was rolled. 4 successes.
5 successes. Oh dear. 2 of them on the hunger dice. They weren't critical though, but they were just successes.
Holy shit! That was great.
It's like she's intentionally trying to get my hopes up and then dashing.
I thought it was.
I laughed.
I couldn't remember if it was regular or it has to be crits on the hunger.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just successes.
Well, I'm sorry.
So yeah, he comes running out. Y'all gun him down. It's another one of those fresh little fledglings.
Yep. And I'll start to go up the stairs.
Oh damn! So I was looking
I
at
don't
the
know
thing.
what's going on.
This is someone with true faith level 5.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm going up the stairs. No one's told me nothing.
Yeah, Emma will follow just because clear the house.
Mhm.
Even though someone ran out. Did she hear anyone else in the house?
You just hear what sounds like a woman praying.
Hello, police!
Yes, there's an intruder.
I think we got him.
It's been taken care of. Please remain in your room. If you can, please close the door.
He was busting it open. He must have heard you coming.
The threat has been neutralized. Please remain in your room. Secure the door if you can, or go to a bathroom and secure the door.
All right, and you hear a little bit of walking, and then another door shut. And you hear.
Doing
Okay.
great. And Egidio leaves.
Emma putting on that good cop vibe.
Somebody has to and closes the door.
Good cop, confused cop.
Mostly confused cop. Like, pure of heart, dumb of ass.
That is one way to word it, I suppose.
This house?
This house is clean.
In more ways than one.
Alright.
Are you strumming your cat?
You don't
I'm
play your
scratching
karaoke
her
guitar?
bit.
No.
No, it's not as big as a full size guitar. It's more like a ukulele.
Maine Coons are more of a bass.
I mean, they got one of
But I
those.
say, I was fixing to say, hold on, let me get the bigger boy.
No. Alright. Looking across the street.
Acquire the void.
All right, across the street, Kyle. You said you were headed upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me a wits awareness.
Sure. 4 successes.
I'm gonna use rest of markets.
All right, he has got 4, 5, 6 successes because he critted, but one of those crits was his hunger dice.
Oh, fun! Messy critical.
And you got how many?
4.
All right. All right. So, I'm trying to think of how a messy works with that.
Carefully, depending.
I'm just gonna have to say it's a failure for him because I can't think of anything else. All right, so it's your head's coming up over the steps. He was over to one side, relatively hidden, just waiting for a head to show up.
Mm-hmm.
But with that messy critical, when he saw you, he was anxious that when he saw you, he just starts pumping out. He just starts taking multiple shots without really lining them up good.
Mm-hmm.
So the wall behind you is, pockmarked now with bullets.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till since I know what these go through, considering he's been in them. He's gonna wait till he hears the cling of it being empty, the click,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna charge him.
Again, the one fault of that weapon was the fact to which it has an audible way to tell you, oh hey, I'm out of bullets.
Yeah. Ping!
Sure enough, you hear it click empty.
he's over the stairs after the guy.
All right. So you're coming over the stairs at him. He realizes he's screwed up. So as you're coming over, he's basically standing up, swinging that the butt of that gun around.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be I guess melee brawl or not melee. Well, I guess it'd be melee for him. Strength melee versus your brawl.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear.
Do you put it like that?
He got 4.
I got 11 because I crit.
Right.
On hunger dice, probably.
No, I did not. The hunger dice was just a success.
I saw that gesture.
So subtracting the 4 you said,
Yes, he had 4.
so that's 9 damage. Because
Murder
feral
hands.
weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, murder hands.
All right, so he doesn't half that. It's not aggravated, but he doesn't half it.
Mm-hmm.
9. So yeah, he goes down. He has not met final death, but he's definitely out.
Rips the head off and moves on.
About the time you're ripping the head off is when Anya and Abla come up the top. The Russian woman just kind of gives you an approving nod. It's absolutely the way to handle it. And they start sweeping the rest of the upstairs, checking out the rooms of the rest of the upstairs.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna take the long rifle, put it over, basically put the strap around his shoulder, frisk him for ammo, pocket that, and move on.
He has a couple of extra magazines.
Loot and scoot.
Yeah, he's basically loot and scooting. And he'll move with the 2 of them to clear the rest of the house and then move on to the next.
There's a couple of more bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You find them in a closet wrapped in a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
When Abla unwraps them, they've still got the neck wounds, but there's also blood around their mouth. She just kind of sighs. And Anya pulls out a big ass knife and proceeds to decapitate them. They were planning on bringing these back, or clearly they're this is all to increase their forces.
Stamp out embers before they become a blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Just eliminate them and move on.
We should double check the one downstairs.
I'll do that while you're taking care of this.
She nods. And you go downstairs, and the man downstairs is dead. You don't see any evidence that they've been feeding him anything, though. At least not yet.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, he does still have the visible wound on his neck, though.
Clearly dead, though. Drained.
Yes.
Okay. He'll call up. Body's clear.
A little bit later, you hear them coming downstairs.
And move on to the next house.
Okay. Across the street. Y'all had just exited this older lady's house. Well, I don't guess y'all saw that she was older, but maybe you can tell by her voice. On the way out, you notice there's an awful lot of crosses and pictures of Jesus on the wall.
She has a bowl of Werther's on the table. We figured she was old.
That's fair.
Yep.
And it's if I could still eat candy.
Sometimes you could say the thing without saying the thing.
So, You continue down the next couple of houses are empty. You find some bodies. You guys find some bodies done up like Kyle's were, or like the ones Kyle just found. Where they were obviously planning on these people coming back in a night or two. Or was it 3 or whatever it is? You hear commotion further down the street. But you continue clearing the houses pretty much like you had. You're not running into a whole lot of opposition. No, that's organized anyway. Eventually, you get to the point where some of the houses are all lit up. You know, all the lights are on. You see people looking out their windows. It's like you hit the edge of whatever it is they were doing.
Okay.
I will state this, and pretty much the commotion, Walter would probably take an opportunity to find some snackies, just to make his hunger a little bit more manageable.
Oh, sure. Like I said, y'all run into another one or two of those feral fledglings.
Don't worry, he won't drain nobody, but he's going to definitely get some snackies.
Not going to Diablerize him. I'm just going to drain him down to where he hunger frenzies.
No.
But yes, you can knock off some hunger.
So what we saying? 1, 2, all 3.
Yeah, go ahead and knock off 3. It might take multiple. It might take multiple donors since a lot of these fledglings are borderline frenzying anyway.
Oh yeah, no, he's already used to skulking behind everybody, so it's just a simple fact of do. Little snack here, little snack there.
Walking up with a straw.
I mean, well, with those beautiful angler teeth of his, one of them could act like one. Just.
But you're starting to hear police sirens in the distance because there has been a lot of gunfire.
Looking at the Banu Hakim, what is the protocol for this? Because we've taken care of some folks, but this is more than 1 or 2.
It's an entire street full of bodies.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the time to get this all picked up in one fell swoop.
I was like, we will notify the local cam to be ready to cover this up with the police. If you have any influence, I suggest you use it. Most likely it'll be gang violence. Though that excuse is probably going to be wearing thin as much as it's being used around here.
That excuse is already run thin. We'll need something else. Cannibal cult?
Mass shooter event?
Mass
that's
cult
good, man.
suicide.
A little too on the America nose there.
But anyway, y'all have to make it back to your vehicles. So y'all run back down the street to your vehicles. As you pull off, you're starting to see flashing lights, down at the opposite end of the road.
Yeah.
The other way.
As you're pulling away, Walter, you get a text message.
Of course, he flips it open, looks at it.
It's from Sammy.
Oh, the cops going your way, man.
They loaded up a bus full of folk.
He'd be like, he would text like, I'm sorry, what now?
So they moved a bunch of people on the bus. I don't think it was normal people. I don't know. I'm hanging on to the bottom of the bus now.
Oh shit!
It's Sammy a medal.
I like Sammy. Sammy's got balls.
Sammy just casually. I'm on the bottom of the bus. This means he's gonna betray us, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Fantastic. Just making sure.
So Walter texts back a thumbs up, and and also a pair of like what looks like brass and metal spheres.
There's an emoji for that?
And at that,
Probably.
I'm sure there is if you get creative enough.
Discord custom
But-
emoji.
Probably. He's gonna be like, right. Hold tight. We'll get to you when we can, because currently we're having a small issue on our side.
Is
But
this
we
like a
will get
is
to
this
you.
like phone call or text?
This is text.
Okay.
This man is probably holding on via pipe and working with one hand.
Slow texter, it's fine.
That's fine. All Walter's thinking is, dear God, this boy is brilliant.
Walter's like, I've never been prouder.
Anything interesting, Walter? As we're running.
We're in a
No, we're already in vehicles.
Yeah, he gets the message as y'all are loading into the vehicle. So
Okay.
you're probably in
At
your
this
truck.
point, if there's space in Kyle's truck, he'd probably hop in there just so Emma's car doesn't get bogged down by his size.
It's already
fair
been
enough.
hit once.
Uh,
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, it's got some damage to it.
Gonna go.
Yeah,
visit
no,
the
if
later.
if Kyle asks that question as Walter's looking at his phone, it's like, one, I'm proud of this new NOS. He has got more brass than I've witnessed in a very long time. Second, apparently he's clinging on to a bus that is probably full of kindred that has been recently turned and having a fun time. Where the bus is, I'm about to ask that question. I do not know where the poor boy is, but then again, as the text states, he's under the bus. He's literally attached to it.
Turn on your location. I just want to talk.
Actually, that probably would have been like,
Mhm.
can you turn on location for me, please?
All right, you don't get an answer back. So as y'all are driving off, where are y'all headed? The Barony Akeem have pretty much told you they're heading back to Huntsville.
Well, I mean, we technically have a meeting we're still technically gotta head to.
What time is the meeting? You know.
Oh, you've got an hour or so for the
We
meeting.
might be behind.
So much time to kill.
Do we get any kind of thing back of where his location is?
No, that last message he sent Walter's the last one y'all get. That he's clinging to the other side of the bus.
We're in different cars, so we don't know about it. So I can't be like, where do buses leave from around here?
Check the Greyhound station.
Alright,
I mean,
so
it's
unfortunately,
11 something at night. The bus would be obvious.
Well, as we're driving back to our as we're driving back, is there any buses we spot like on the interstate or anything like that?
Well, if y'all are heading back to the domain, that's a few streets over. You're not going to hit a major highway.
Okay.
But no, you don't see any. August people are still following you.
He's gonna pull out
Turn
his
that
phone,
way.
speed dial 1, turn it on speaker, put it in the cup holder. Since he's driving.
Oh, now he's a responsible driver.
We
What's
may have
his
murdered
call?
people, but driving distracted is dangerous.
Yeah, he's contacting Miles.
One ring and Miles picks up.
Keep on the lookout for buses leaving the area. Some undesirables were loaded for shipment.
Will do. We've heard some stuff over your way, but we haven't seen anything around here.
Understood. Keep the domain. Keep the area on alert. We're gonna need the watch fully mobilized for a while.
Oh yeah, he's got the neighborhood watch out.
Watch.
right.
In the future, he's like, in the future, I may want to recruit a couple of extra members.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
And what was that do?
Oh, Walter's just gonna kind of just have an open question to Kyle, just like, right. So what do you want to do now?
I'm debating how angry I want to be with the rest of you.
Now, do y'all head back to the bar?
He's driving that way. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got the whole speakerphone thing going on. That's right.
Well, this is after
he-
after he concluded his call with Miles. Miles is like, "Hey, we might need to get some more people," and he's like, "Go ahead, that's your purview." And then after he hung up, and then Walter asked his question of what are we gonna do, and then Kyle's like, "I'm debating how angry I need to be with you all."
I mean, to be fair, what's there to be angry about? A situation arose, we tried to take care of it. You were preoccupied, and we're not going to bog you down with every small problem.
Yes, but attempting to pay off one of my own.
To be fair, the man's due for a raise.
I gave him one.
The charity effort. But, again, you can't really blame us. We just, again, didn't want to get you involved when you're already trying to cover one side of the domain.
I've been covering a great deal of the domain.
And we understand. We are grateful. I try to cover as much domain as I can with the local force.
Yes.
You're covering it with the underground. We're all tackling different locations. Unfortunately, it's not all lining up as we'd like it to. Trust me, I wasn't expecting a call telling me that this was going to happen, but it happened. You were in the middle of a meeting. I wasn't about to just be like, oh hey, cancel all your plans, come over here. Besides, I give Zeke kudos for not cussing us all out and getting us out the bar quicker than what was plausible.
He wants to.
Of that I have no doubt. Granted, he doesn't know of my existence yet, thankfully. But either way,
Let me put it this way. Don't you ever try to buy off one of my people again. Am I perfectly clear?
no, crystal, sir.
Good. Because if your answer was no, we'd be having a very different conversation. That's a line you don't cross with me.
Do keep in mind my loyalty is to you, so you don't have to worry about that. Though I do apologize for trying to bribe a subordinate.
As you're aware of that, that's your first warning.
Duly noted. So once again, how would you like to approach the situation? We still have a meeting to go to soon, I'm afraid.
Yes. Depending on where they're being offloaded, if they're leaving town and we were just the recruitment center, could be we don't have to deal with them much longer. For right now, we need to make ourselves more presentable because this is going to be a meeting with the barons. We need to discuss our plan moving forward on how to unify our efforts to deal with the cam and get a more solidified hold over the city.
Did you guys tell anyone else about the bus?
They ain't said shit. We're in the other car.
We're in the other car singing really loud to like Britney Spears or something.
Isn't she lucky?
Right.
All right. So where are y'all meeting back up at?
August is
Or I should say, where are y'all driving to? Because y'all are all in like a line.
Let's go to August's domain.
Okay.
since his men are following us anyway.
Okay.
As this is going on, Walter will be like, "Oh, right, we're not all together. Hold that thought," and he'll start texting the group chat. Right, I heard there's some vacationers decided to take a bus ride, and one of our buddies decided to go with them.
Emma Tojidio, how good are you at translating vampire count? Is that like a bus of
Yep.
Bali?
Yep. Given what we just dealt with, yes.
Should we pass this? We should pass this message on to the Banu Hakim, maybe, just so they know if they happen to see a bus of people, they can run it off the road or something.
Well, you're
Do we?
driving. So
I
I
highly
will
doubt.
text it.
That's actually a good point. Do we have their numbers?
Yes.
Yes, you have a number at least to contact Abla with.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we say,
Okay.
I don't know if Walter got the number, but he knew
Yeah.
the other people did, so he didn't really
We
care to
probably
try.
shared it.
Yep.
Okay.
Then I will do that. I'll send a GIF of the Venga bus. the old guy from the Six Flags commercials.
Yeah.
And now that's all in your
Yeah.
heads. You're welcome. And I will say something like, "Be on the lookout for this party going somewhere."
Related
The
to
party bus just left town.
and the response is related to the party we just left.
Yes.
We'll keep our eyes open.
Thumbs up emojis.
And as Kyle has mentioned, trying to freshen up, Walter's like trying to dust himself off. Just
All
like,
of us are covered in gore.
Covered in gore.
Mentally covered in gore.
Walter.
Oh no, Kyle.
I
is.
say Walter Walter might have a bloody knuckle or two from where he punched the guy down.
Kyle went
But
through
you
a man
know,
and tore off his head.
Ooh.
So,
I was putting clothes in the dryer when you did that. Jesus.
Shows up late, doesn't bring Starbucks, gets covered in blood and viscera.
but no, Kyle's actually he's just heading straight for August's area.
Okay.
Is that where we said we were meeting? Was in August's domain?
I don't remember if we had said for sure.
We said we were in the building next to Princess.
That's right. The meeting is in the old opera house. You're right.
Okay.
And that is over.
I didn't remember where that was.
Oh, I forget. Somewhere around here. It's close to Cam territory and the Molten Heights, Barony.
Okay.
You know, it's like a few streets over from like the courthouse and the city hall, which is still under Cam control. But being a historic district, generally speaking, even the Cam isn't wanting to shoot the place up, so to speak. At least not the Corridor contingent.
Yeah, Kyle's he's gonna. So that's where we're going. So that we're meeting August's area. So scratch that. He will be heading back to the bar so he can basically hose the blood off.
Okay.
Zeke probably is gone by now.
You better hope so.
Let's see. He was shutting the bar down. It's only been a half hour or so. High or low?
High.
Also check the security cameras to see if he's still there.
Yes, he is gone.
Okay. I was about to say, regardless of the result of the roll, Kyle was going to check the cameras to see if Zeke could.
Yeah, so you check the cameras and yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm now imagining a giant Dorito with a hose spraying down at a dog and the dog trying to snap at the water.
Shiloh.
Yeah. I had a border collie that, whenever we had the sprinkler out, like the grass would never actually get watered because he would like literally be in front of just trying to herd the water by snapping at it, so it never actually got watered. It was just a puddle wherever the sprinkler was.
The area right around the sprinkler watered great.
Oh yeah, everywhere else, not really.
All right, so you swing by the bar, you get a wet nap, freshen up a little bit.
Yeah, hoses himself off.
At this point, August's men take their leave. They're going to they're going to head out, go report to August.
Walter tries to find a not ripped up shirt because of, Dorito size.
Dorito size.
Does this shirt come in Dorito?
This 5X is just too small.
I think Egidio and Emma, unless Emma has anything else, I think we're just going that way. I don't think either of us really got any Sarah on us.
We're just mostly firearms. We did help the guy in the bathroom, unless we got blood there.
You might have gotten a little bit on your hands there.
Yeah.
Egidio's practiced.
Emma keeps paper towels in the car.
Wet ones.
Oh yeah. Spare hats, spare beanie, paper towels.
Yep.
Oh, one thing about since I brought up firearms, what kind of a gun was it that Kyle Luton scooted?
Rifle.
Are we talking an M1 Garand? Or are we talking about a hunting rifle?
More of a run-of-the-mill hunting rifle.
Okay.
M1 Garand gonna put a hole in someone.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a rifle you use to kill buildings. That's not what this guy had.
Well, no, if he's after vampires.
Building.
Well, here again, we made the joke earlier about the M1 Garand ping, so
Yeah.
That's what made me curious. I'm like, is it actually a Garand? Does it actually this classic?
I've played Battlefield 1. I know how to use this.
Exactly.
So
Again, wonderful rifle. Horrible design flaw of it being able to tell you when it's empty. Because it tells everybody.
So a 308.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay. Less damage than his pistol, but it worked. Or revolver, but it works.
Probably better range though.
Yeah, because you have a fucking dirty hairy revolver.
Yeah.
Gives it to Walter. Walter, what are you gonna do with it? It's a good club. What?
Okay, so he now has the rifle.
We'll do a murder.
Cool. Alrighty then.
All right, so y'all clean up as best you can at the bar. Does Kyle have like an extra set of clothes there?
Yeah.
Considering you've got the speakeasy hidey hole, I figure you probably got a few baseline somethings there.
Yeah, he does for when he needs to dress up.
Yeah, no.
So he's in a suit now?
Walter taking that rifle, popping them up, and like, hold that thought.
Not quite a suit, but probably like khakis and a button down.
Okay. Emma grabs her formal beanie.
She's probably got the same like hat situation that she did when they went to the princess. Not as
Egidio just wore
Egidio's always
a little more
dressed
dapper.
up. Yeah.
Got a
Emma's still
hat
got
now.
Emma's got the bug out bag in her back of her back in the trunk. There's a nice enough like blazer or something in there she can throw over everything.
Walter tried his best to wear like a button-up shirt, even though some of the buttons are screaming at the seams.
No, it's just
Maybe
that 70. It's just that
Brenda's
70 style unbuttoned halfway down.
Yep. With the
So you can
hairy
show off that
chest.
hairy chest. Yeah.
Yep.
Just gonna get him a formal poncho, okay? The reverse Dorito on top of the Dorito.
Oh dear.
It's now an hourglass.
It's very close to being the Triforce.
Now an hourglass. Oh my.
All right, so y'all are loading up to go to the opera house. Are you taking Shiloh with you?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Uh,
Gotta have that nice early warning system.
no problem driving over there. As you get
Gone.
there, you notice more people in the area than there should be in the area this time of night.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I wonder why.
I don't know.
Party.
So you plenty of parking. You walk up to the opera house, which has not been used as an opera house for a very long time. But it is, I believe, the oldest standing opera house in Alabama.
Probably.
It's something about its age is noteworthy.
As they say, unless you talk about the Alabama Theater down in Birmingham. I know that one's a long-standing.
Yeah. But this one was specifically built as an opera house.
Fair enough.
It's like your kind of high-end shops now, clothing shops and whatnot. However, Josephine has the top floor to herself.
Makes sense.
And it is a 3 or 4 story building, I believe. So, not as big as the jail, but, pretty decent sized building for the area.
Yep.
A couple of guys at the door working, clearly security. They recognize you as you walk up. They open the doors for you. Barons?
Having a good night.
It's quiet so far.
Thank your stars for that.
At least it's quiet somewhere.
And you step in, and there's somebody there, a woman there, and pretty nice, nice clothing. Please come this way. I'll show you to the top floor. And they take you back, and there's a little elevator. Very old timey. It's got the little mesh gate sort of thing. I have no idea if the opera house actually has that. But it does here. And they run you up to the top floor. When you get there, there's a little open area that a lot of people are like just standing around in. As you step out, Josephine walks over to you. Barons, welcome. It's good. It's good to see you again. Hopefully this time we won't have as much excitement.
Hopefully.
She shakes kind of each.
Not still young.
She shakes each of your. Don't say things like that. She goes around shaking all your hands.
Walter extends like a finger due to his giant mitts.
She kind of laughs. As she's shaking hands with Emma and Egidio, she's kind of like, "Is that gunpowder?" And she takes it back. Have we already had some excitement tonight?
As I said, at least it is quiet somewhere so far.
This is the opposite of it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's quiet somewhere. He dusts himself off at the mention of gunpowder.
She's like,
just at the whiff of like being scented, he just like dusts himself off.
I'm sure it'll come up during the meeting.
It's peaceful somewhere, but that somewhere is not the Deadman's domain. Well, please, help yourself to refreshment and chit chat before the meeting starts.
Gideon will nod and go and just kind of mutter under his breath, "Would that we could all be so far away from the battle lines."
She's like 2 streets over from City Hall that's run by the camp, so
And yet.
And she had her other building shot up just a few weeks ago.
I do not sympathize.
Lit on fire, shot at.
Kyle will go over to August if he's here.
He is.
August?
Kyle. got a text.
Damn, Adobe. Ugh.
Dark mode. They need dark mode.
Yeah, no kidding. Ow.
It's like Kyle's computer suddenly has true fate.
Yeah. Ow. My eyes.
Kyle's experiencing true face damage.
I mean, you can deal
Right-
animated
right to the
vampires
retinas.
with that.
The
Let's
power
go.
of Adobe compels you.
Ow,
Anyway.
my eyes. Damn it! Stop it! I pulled it back up again. Ugh.
Your fault.
Well, don't do
The
that.
first time was an accident. The second time's your fault.
Yeah, I needed to check something.
Anyway.
Anyway, August tells you,
Close.
got a little message from my men saying they all made it home fine.
Good. That's what I was checking on.
That they have a lot to tell me apparently, but that'll have to wait till after the meeting.
Quite so.
Will any of it come up during the meeting?
If necessary. We had our mutual business associates tracking the remnants.
I see. So you're sitting around talking, and you see, some folks that you'd seen at that meeting in the at the Princess. Now, unlike at the Princess, though, you do see Baron Cologne is here. With a couple of his other people.
Yep.
You see, what was her? Valerie Vega, who was well, y'all didn't know it during the meeting. They were at the meeting in the north of the city.
They sprung out of the ground like daisies.
They sprung out of the ground, fully formed. Like a dwarf.
Or a gangrel when they wake up.
Well, she is gangrel, so that
Earthmeld.
makes certain amount of sense.
Yeah. Earth meld.
But you see her. You see Landry Kramer, who is the Baron of a domain called the Borderlands, or that he calls the Borderlands, which is, let's see, have I got y'all on the city size map?
Yes, we do. Or we are, I should say.
Okay. So that is one of the outer baronies, the one over here. And it is actually a collection of fairly small baronies. There's a lot of small groups, or just a coterie, just a coterie's territory that's kind of fills in that area. And Landry is just, they've kind of voted him to be kind of the spokesperson for the rest of the city. And if there's an attack, he kind of organizes folks in that area. He's not technically the actual Baron of the entire area, but he's more he's more, his personal domain is one of the larger ones, and he kind of handles the like I said, the city-wide stuff. The north of him is the Eastern Outer Barony, or the EOB. Sergio Scott is the Baron there. Despite the name, he is not very formal, which is why his domain's called what it is. It's a large area. It's fairly sparsely populated. Most of the kindred there are gangrel.
My people.
But there's a smattering of others there too. They're kind of out of the way, other than they keep a watch on the highway up there at kind of that north point of their domain. Since that's really the only spot where they get close to the domain or close to the highway. Let's see. That was Landry, Scott. Oh yes, and you see, and Kyle, you know who all these people are. Some of the rest of you might not have met them. You see Lillian Chen and Saul Clem. They are the leaders of a group of gangrel called the Pack. That their domain is over here in kind of this western south corner, which is an area of the city that's not very built up. It's truthfully just a. You can't really tell the difference between it and any random part of the county.
Right.
Decatur's just kind of claimed the territory.
Gotcha.
A fair number of people live out that way. But not a ton of the big businesses. There's no industry over there.
Gotcha.
They don't have to deal with the cam real regular. But kind of like Clint over at the Sherwood Oaks domain. And he's also here. They're mostly there kind of keeping an eye out for incursions by lupine. So that is pretty much all the big names of the city.
Yep.
Who you don't see is Maddox.
Okay. Curious.
Now the meeting is, you've got a half hour or so before the meeting. People are just milling around, chit chatting. So do y'all stay together? Or do y'all like spread out to?
I think GDO mingles.
Okay.
Just randos.
As Vic say,
Tries to, network.
Walter would probably end up doing the same, maybe looking for a fellow Nos or two if there are any showing themselves. If not, he'll at least exchange pleasantries with most folk. Just like, hey, how you doing?
Rat is here. And he's not the only Nos in the room, because these people have their entourages and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Walter probably go up to Rat, try to get to know him a little bit better now that he's not, blaming us for all the bullshittery.
Oh, nobody would ever blame you for anything.
Says you.
Well, I would know, wouldn't I?
Like to roll insight on the storyteller.
Oh, he's out to get you, I can assure you. There we go.
We do that already.
You got that with a 1.
But if you critically failed, you'd have to trust me implicitly. Wouldn't that be fun? So anyway, Walter, when you walk up to Rat, he's glad to see you. He shakes your hand. He's got a wine glass in his hand. He kind of, anytime he catches any of the rest of you's eye, he kind of, slight tip of the glass, acknowledgement. It's good to see you again, Walter.
Likewise.
Hope things are going well over around the Deadman.
That fluctuates every now and then, but for the most part, it's not terrible. How are things over in your side of the world?
They smell like shit. We're still having some of those flooding issues. The cam did it on purpose the first time. Now I think it's actually just neglect of the system.
Fair enough. If there's something I can do, please don't hesitate to ask.
No, keep that in mind. Right now I'm just trying to build my domain's numbers back up.
Fair enough.
While we squat in the corner of Maddox's domain.
Speaking of which, where is the soul? I don't think I've seen him here yet.
Yeah, he's usually here on time. And he kind of checks the watch. Though he's got a little bit, so he's not late yet.
Fair enough, fair enough. I know, I like to strengthen my connection with fellow Nosses and, keep a good, I'd say nice little security grid, as it were.
Mm-hmm. How's that new Nos doing that you contacted me about?
Sammy, I have to admit, the boy's doing rather well. He's quite the trooper, to say the least.
Oh, that's good.
He comes around every now and then just to make sure he's not doing anything wrong, and I assure him, no, you're doing everything correctly so far, so keep it up.
Well, if he had to flee Cam territory for his sire violating the what was it, tradition of progeny, I can see why he might be a stickler for the rules, or at least concerned about them.
Oh yes. I try to assure him though, as long as he keeps his head down and does follows proper procedure, no harm, nothing bad should come to him. Like I said, boy's a real trooper. I believe he's as far as I know, he's out there kind of doing a project right now, and hopefully it bears fruit for him in some shape or fashion.
Okay, and you and Rat sit there and continue chit chatting. So, Egidio, who are you looking to mingle with?
Just not necessarily not necessarily people, not no movers and shakers. Just like, other. I guess there are other movers. Is this an all like anarch party, or are these strictly barons
It's strictly barons and their
and their entourages?
yes, their entourages.
Okay. Move that back, walk that back a little bit.
No, not a problem.
I'll hang out with Mr. Colon then for a bit.
All right. As you walk up, Mr. Luna,
Mr. Colon.
I hope you're well.
Well, yeah.
One of those nights.
Yeah, one of those things. Do you know anything about the Black Hand? I'll like whisper that. Not whisper, but like I'll speak low.
I've heard rumors, and certainly before we split from the Camarilla, we had we had come into conflict with Sabat a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Do you have reason to believe they're in the area?
I think the way that the excitement happened just reminded me a lot of like a dangerously accurate amount of.
Well, if you need to talk about it, I do have some training in counseling.
I'm gonna take you up on that. Not tonight. Well, not right now, obviously, but I will take you up on it.
Of course, of course. You know how to contact us. Just
I'll be sure to drop you a line before I just barge in.
And some of his people perk up at as y'all are talking about this.
Bad perk up or a good perk up?
Just kind of like ooh. Maybe a lot of kindred don't seek therapy. They're proud of you.
It's the first step.
Emma, what are you doing during the smoozing part of the evening?
She is wallflowering the hell out of it.
Shit.
So you're just over in the corner trying not to be noticed.
Do not perceive me. doing her best impersonation of a Nos. Just she'll nod if like people nod at her, but she's
Mhm.
not actively seeking out anyone.
Okay. That is, truthfully, the two members of the pack are doing more or less the same thing. They're standing over there talking to each other. And acknowledging people and speaking if spoken to, but they're not looking to mingle. What about Kyle?
Honestly, after talking with August, he just kind of paced the floor. A little restless. Probably find a spot somewhere, sit down, and scritch the dog. Just pay attention to his dog mostly.
Okay. You get a nod from from Lillian and Saul, the pack members. Just it's kind of that acknowledgement of fellow almost said Nos, fellow Gangrel. And this goes on for a little while. The elevator opens. Maddox steps out. Let's see, who is Maddox closest to? Or who is closest to the elevator door?
Time to roll a d4.
I guess, yeah. Because no, Egidio's with the Malkavian.
Cologne.
Cologne, yes, thank you. I keep wanting to call him Wallace, but I know that's not it. That's just the name of his barony.
Yep.
Walter is with Rat.
So they'd both be deep into the room. You'd wandered over in the corner. Emma was wallflowering.
Yeah, Emma's wallflower. Well, Kyle was kind of roaming before just finding a seat somewhere. So, maybe Kyle?
High or low? I rolled a minute ago, so high or low?
Low.
Okay, it is not Kyle.
Okay.
So door opens, Maddox steps out, he's got a little entourage behind him. He steps in, he looks around, he walks up to the first one of you he sees, shoves a finger in Emma's face. What did you do? And the room goes quiet.
You're going to have to be more specific.
There are police crawling all over the west side of your domain. There are bodies everywhere.
Stamping out embers.
With sniper rifles?
That's in my truck.
In a heavily populated city? Or section of the city?
Kyle popped off with, across the room. Since it went quiet, as you mentioned that, that's in my truck.
To be fair, sir, 1, they fired first. 2, I believe and I hope that you would have done the same thing should you have encountered them.
Who was it that you were encountering?
Kind of glances back over at any of the other barons.
Yeah, everybody's kind of sitting there like,
Kyle just.
So Josephine is making her way over towards you.
Yeah, I'll say.
She'll lean in close enough for only him to hear. Sir, we may speak about this privately, but I don't wish to cause a stir amongst everyone quite at this moment.
Give me. Charisma. Well, it would be charisma or manipulation. And either perception. Let's see. Let's go with manipulation, and then it can be either etiquette or persuasion, whichever one you prefer.
Colby Jack.
I'm gonna go with etiquette because there's more dots there.
Okay, you don't want a power game. That's fine.
Oh my god.
No, I just don't want to cause a scene in the middle of a thing.
Oh yeah, because there's not a scene going on right now.
trying to de-escalate the scene. 4.
All right. He's well fed, so only 100 dice. Wow. It's a lot of dice for them to all come up blank.
I only got that because I got lucky and 2 of the non-hunger dice came up as crit.
But he kind of stops. He glances around. He sees how many, of the various entourage, various non-barons. Very well.
Josephine has somewhere where we can speak.
And about that time, she has stepped up. She's gotten to you. Yes, there's a side room. If y'all need to speak briefly before the meeting actually starts, there's a side room. And Maddox, while you're a guest here, I would remind you to remember yourself. And kind of gives him a kind of a stern look.
Respect the rules of domain, bitch.
Museum. She'll allow Josephine and Maddox to kind of lead the way.
And Maddox apologizes to her. He did not mean to start a commotion. And the talking starts to pick back up. Let's see, Egidio was talking to Cologne. Several of the other Malks around him are kind of like turning an ear towards the door that Josephine, Emma, and Maddox are walking towards.
Was that implied that the rest of us are going that way, or was that just Emma?
It just seemed to be Emma.
She would have given a look like, if you guys want to follow, you can follow, but...
Yeah, Kyle, he'll get up, dog included, and he'll follow him.
Okay.
No, I will politely excuse myself from Sebastian. Until next time.
Well, until the meeting in a few minutes.
Yes.
So yeah, all of you file into the room. Josephine's in there. Maddox is in there. You see a look at August's face, like, oh, he wants to go in there, but he thinks it might be rude.
I'll just have to ask him to tell me later.
So you get in there, she shuts the door. The room is soundproofed. So even if even if the Malks get a little nosy, they should not be able to hear anything. And she looks at Maddox, as long as we keep our voices down.
Let me try this again. From the top.
We were made aware by some of the more intrepid members of our domain that there were Bali in the area. There were Bali in that area. Using connections we have forged, we brought in not only additional help on our end, but some out-of-town help that specialize in eliminating Bali. It has been taken care of. They're reaching out to their Camarilla connections to quiet it, and we were going to suggest we reach out to ours as well.
Who are these out-of-towners that they have Camarilla connections?
Mutual acquaintances of... Would she know if... Would Harmony have said if Maddox was involved in the business a couple months ago?
August was.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it came up specifically. Now, from previous conversations that Maddox and August both know about Harmony. Because when you were first asking about her, you were asking the two of them, and they were kind of swapping looks. Like
Mutual acquaintance I asked about when I first, before we were given the Barony.
So this out of town help was someone she introduced you to.
Someone she trusts. A group of someone she trusts.
Very well, very well. But there are many missing people. The police are crawling all over it. It's already hitting the news. Some of the bodies had obvious throat wounds. There were witnesses.
Bodies are not Bali now, though.
Is that what they were doing?
They were doing mass conversion.
They were building an army, and we had to strike before they could mobilize.
There's
wasn't-
still... Go ahead.
There wasn't really a time to find a way to do it quietly. Had to be loud and had to be fast, and we still only caught a part of it. The rest fled the city.
Well, if they fled the city, maybe there's someone else's problem now.
For
Could
now.
be.
Maybe they'll head north and bother the prince up there.
Both know it doesn't work that way.
I can hope.
Can hope, but it's just going to be our problem again later.
Open one
Kick
hand.
down the can.
Open one hand, shit in the other. See which one you end up with more of, sir.
Josephine makes a face.
It's a problem that will have to be addressed not only by singular baronies, but both the Anarchs and the Camarilla. It's something that neither side can allow to fester.
Suffice to say, short version, we were hoping to uproot the entire operation from the ground up. We managed to eliminate the recruitment centers and brought many a Bali to final death.
Any of the ones orchestrating it, or just their new converts?
Fledglings.
A number of new converts, a few of the orchestrators. I took care of one of them on my own. Didn't really question him, just offed him. But if you wanted to know, considering you came storming in like that, that's what was happening. We struck hard, we struck fast, and then we had to get out before the police came.
But you said you're... Oh, go ahead.
Mutual contacts said they would be contacting the Camarilla that may have sway over the police there and seeing about quieting it. If we have any sway with the police down here.
I have a few contacts. I hate to rely on the Camarilla, but a massive masquerade breach, they will do their best to cover that.
Especially
Uses,
considering.
apparently.
I hope they don't go with the gang thing, though. That's being overused.
They don't need to. Because if they start using it too much more, the city's going to descend into chaos very fast.
Here's what it looks
Even
like.
more so than it already is.
What do you mean?
A large portion of my mortal life I spent running with gangs.
I'm aware.
I have been reactivating old contacts and connections to try to get a handle on things to keep them from going out of control and descending into chaos. They're very titchy and on edge right now. Because with everything being labeled as gang violence, none of them are actually doing it, and they're all very aware of that. I managed to lead the conversation a little bit, saying it's out of towners messing things up, but that's not going to fly for long.
No. Maddox seems calmer after the conversation. Still, maybe he doesn't look happy with you, but he seems calmer at least.
Well, hopefully there's not a next time. Next time we'll make sure to contact you as well.
Please do. Please do.
I don't know if you want to be seasoned into potential Roy Trek, but hey.
He just looks at you. What?
Oh, you didn't see what I saw. He holds up his arm. He's like, they can summon demon fire.
Oh, the Bali? Yes, yes. He seems calmer. Josephine's like, are we ready to proceed with the meeting then?
I am, yes.
All right. So she opens the door. Everybody walks out.
Do we open the door and there's just like a lineup of like Malks at the door?
The Scooby Doo. It's like stacked on top of
No.
each other.
The GDO, you glance over at them, they just all look disappointed. Not Cologne, but the rest of them. No, the ones you saw kind of doing this lumber.
I just shrug at them. Like,
But Josephine picks up a wine glass and a little spoon or something, kind of dings it a time or two. Mentions that it is, time for the meeting to begin. If all the barons would follow her, and they file into a conference room. Most of the entourages stay outside. So big table. You guys are basically on one. August and Maddox are kind of on either end of kind of the short sides.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are all on one side. With the other, y'all are on one side with Josephine, and then all the other barons that I mentioned: Landry, Scott, Chin, Clem, Clint. They're all kind of on the other side. Problems?
My brain just immediately went, Puppet Pal Clem!
oh god.
This is why we can never keep a horror vibe in this show. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Maybe manage a horror vibe.
I mean, yeah, we could.
But it'd be like maybe Monty Python, Young Frankenstein horror vibe.
Gonna turn into What We Do in Shadows real quick.
Like we haven't already.
Exactly.
Serious here.
But Josephine turns. All right, Baron Adams. I believe you were the one calling for this meeting.
Yes. In which case he'll reach into his jacket, pull out a big old map of the city, lay it out over the table.
Yeah.
So, the short of it is, we need to actually start working together to drive the camp out of the city. I know that's something we all say we're going to be doing.
And you hear Max under, but brilliant. If only we had thought of that.
Yes, I'm aware. However, it seems that it's a lot of just sitting. Yes, there's the war happening on the front lines. I'm perfectly well aware of that, considering where my domain stands. So, I was thinking, and I had a bit of an idea. What if we all collectively, utilizing our own assets, domains, where they all stand, start putting a stranglehold on the domains of the cam, of what's left behind within the city. I have contacts that have mentioned that the Camarilla is starting to bring in more help, get more supply lines to bring in more ammunition that is a great deal more deadly to our kind, considering our own use of it.
I must say, Maddox speaks up there. I wonder who gave them that idea.
Yes, indeed. But what that did is spark the idea. We strike them where it hurts. Maddox, you and August, and he'll point over to the person he just met of the Eastern Barony. All of you have access to the waterways, where people can move, offload, and ship large quantities of supplies. You could leverage your influence to hit there, redirect things, misdirection, appropriate, as it were. Those of you with baronies that have access to the highways and major shipping lanes via the road, you can do the same. We strangle the cam where they live. Maddox, you yourself would probably get a kick out of this, considering your what you specialize in. No war can be won without logistics, correct? Considering you were building up your own resources and supplies.
This is true.
Kicked off.
Max, like, this is true.
So what say you then to us removing the logistical supply lines of the cam outright and draining what they have left? He's directing this to Maddox, considering he's the one that's been the most vocal of, oh, no, about things.
The plan sounds reasonable. Obviously, the cam will try to smuggle things in.
Correct.
But we will at least be making it harder for them.
Which is why I have been reaching out, reactivating old contacts within the underworld, considering my experience with them. I will be leveraging my influence there and trying to isolate those that work with the Camarilla. Granted, isolating and removing their agents within the underworld will cause them to strike back against our own, which could cause more chaos than we need. However, keeping an eye on them and effectively keeping them under surveillance by those of us that are skilled in the art can help us to identify particular shipments of high priority goods and supplies that can be raided and either reappropriated or destroyed.
Sergio nods. And if this elimination and counter-elimination of, of gang members, essentially, if that were to trigger a real gang war, while that would be more chaos, it would be kind chaos. It would help cover up what we're doing. It could actually be useful.
I'd agree on principle. However, if the cam hadn't already have been leveraging everything recently as gang violence, the chance of that working in the long term would be significantly less.
Except there would be dead. He's like, but there would be dead gang members laying around and gang members being arrested. There would actually be evidence of the gang violence.
There would. But that would make moving a little harder too. My first thought was, now if it comes to it, yes, it'll happen. But my first thought was to propitiate a shadow war. And then once key targets are appropriately starved, I was made aware recently of a very large population of Bruja that live in the city or around the city.
August kind of nods his head. There's a lot of us here, yeah.
I can't think of many strongholds that can truly stand up to that many of you.
True, but a large concentration of Bruja going to work, shall we say, is going to be pretty obvious.
Yes. So, I propose this. Strike teams. Not a large concentration of Bruja going to work in a single place, but surgical strikes on key targets. Eliminating targets of opportunity. If use of force needs to be applied quick, a group of Bruja come in, take out what needs to be taken out, get out. The cam, from what I've noticed, are all about that power distribution. If any of you are familiar with the Song of Ice and Fire series, it's a whole Game of Thrones nonsense with them.
You get a lot of blank stares.
Yes, I'm young, I know.
Please get HBO Plus. I'm begging you guys.
Movie night.
Short summary: a bunch of nobles stabbing each other for power to try to get ahead over the other.
So, Landry is like so basically any day that ends in Y for us.
Effectively. But if we do that, the remainders could start fighting over areas that they might want to try to solidify power, and that could stretch their own forces thin and weaken other targets that we can hit. Force them to descend into chaos and out of the controlled little mesh of a web they like to live their lives in. And
cause the cams to break up into smaller groupings.
Correct. Split the pack and then hunt down the stragglers.
Not a bad plan. Clone speaks up. I'm sure it won't go that smoothly. Contact with the enemy and all.
Nothing does.
But using small grouped forces would give us some adaptability, room to maneuver quickly, or the ability to maneuver quickly.
Right.
Now August speaks up. A lot of my clan in the city they're hungry for this fight. But if they feel like you're simply using it as cannon fodder,
I'll be on the front lines right alongside them.
Very good. That'll go a long way towards calming that fear or that concern.
Our domain is on the front line, so we'll be fighting that war too.
An emphatic nod from behind from Egidio.
I don't propose this plan to use any of your resources to spare my own. The goal in this is to bind all of our resources together collectively under the aspects of mutual self-interest. We all want the Camarilla gone. We want the city freed.
Everybody's nodding along with you there.
So this is what I propose. We pool together our collective resources, and we operate not as a group of baronies taking separate fights, but as a concerted, unified effort to remove a threat from our borders.
Josephine speaks up. keep having to look at my list to keep up with all the different names.
Full Barons.
Are you suggesting that we nominate someone as a sort of general or not someone in charge of us exactly, but
Coordinator.
A main point of contact.
yes. And just over Virginia, coordinator is a good term probably.
That thought actually had not crossed my mind. It was mostly me trying to figure out how we might all work together. And when it comes to the collective experience and knowledge here, I know I am one of the youngest, if not the youngest, out of all of you. So I don't believe that role should fall to me, if it should fall to anyone.
Lillian Chin speaks up, and it shouldn't fall to anyone. We're anarchs. We're not going to sit here and elect a prince. You get a few nods, people, some people didn't look happy with the idea. Some people were kind of like, maybe. And then when she says it like that, everybody's kind of like, ooh.
So, that in mind, we meet like this. We work collectively as a unit.
Lillian nods and kind of leans back in her seat a little more now. She's a little appeased here. Partly because everybody seemed to pay attention to her, or to her statement. Josephine again. More regular meetings would probably be good. Do we have to be careful about grouping ourselves together like this on a regular basis? Moving around would be wise. She looks over at Lillian. Though a meeting over in the Pax territory might be the safest, as it's the furthest from the cam. Though also the furthest from any backup if we had to call for help. And there's a brief discussion on the different ways y'all can do that. We can sort that out later. And whether the Barons would need to show up to all these meetings or whether they could send emissaries for some of it.
So it would depend on what we're doing at the time. Some of us might be engaged on the front lines, some of us engaged on other fronts, such as supplies and logistics, as he gestures to Maddox, or outreach, as he gestures to Josephine, as you're all about your charisma.
Oh, thank you. Of everyone in the room, she's also probably the one with the smallest domain.
We all have our strengths, so I say we leverage them. But that is my proposal.
And there's a bit of discussion. Everybody's kind of, the general consensus seems to be that working together a little tighter to get this final push against the cam is probably a good idea. Obviously, it's going to escalate the fighting, though that's been on the uptick anyway.
Yeah, because we haven't been fighting at all.
Just skirmishes, basically.
It's going to turn into full-blown warfare, yeah.
But everybody seemed to know that was coming eventually. Saul, the other member of the pack, speaks up. We also have to deal with the fact that with everything going on, with this disease, it's getting harder to hunt. We're having a real issue with it out in our territory. Almost everybody's just indoors by nightfall.
Even the blood bank's having issues.
Well, unless we're having to expend our own blood in a protracted conflict. that might be something we'd have to figure out moving forward, depending on how long this lasts.
Clint speaks up. Would it be possible for us to take one of the hospitals? I know, and he gestures to all of you. I know there's one right on the edge of your domain.
Is heavily defended. It would be not just our domain fight, it would be all of us pushing for it. That is not something they're going to give up easily, especially considering they are probably having the same food supply issues as we are.
Sergio nods. Yeah, we're having a lot of trouble out my way. It's both sparsely populated, and the people that do live there, yeah, as Saul said, they're indoors by night. And if we go around kicking indoors, that's going to call a lot of police attention. But if we helped you take, if we pooled resources with you to take this hospital, who's in charge of the hospital at that point?
Something we have to worry about right now.
We need to discuss it now before some of us potentially sacrifice people to take it, only for us to be fighting about it afterwards.
Considering the situations, it could be a shared resource. Something that all of the baronies defend.
That's true.
If everyone is going to be using it, everyone should defend it.
There's some nods and some discussions between different barons.
It would definitely be a way to not toss just a match on the war, but a whole can of gasoline.
Yeah, from what we've noticed with our own reconnaissance, just being next door to the damn thing, that is one of their most heavily defended areas in the city. I mean, I kicked down the door of a U-Haul next door, and they had probably 20 to 30 people charging us as we left. And that's just quick response. There's no telling how many they'd actually have.
August nods, yes.
It would also have to be taken in a way that isn't a masquerade breach.
And if the hospital is damaged overtly, then it no longer becomes a resource.
Studio somewhere is like the way.
You cut out.
Oh, it's just like Egidio mentally. Let me put away my grenade launcher. Yes.
No, bring it back out. Bring it back out.
Yeah.
No one looked directly into the grenade launcher.
You see that pile of Tremere over there? Aim for the middle.
No, they like the fire.
Oh, Bobby.
Well, we know two Tremere that like fire. One is Samuel, and one is his sire. Actually, I think those are the only Tremere in Huntsville that could use that path. Now that I think about it.
They were the only ones that were using it.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Well, granted, there
Well,
weren't a lot of
most of the rest of the
city
Tremere were
either.
dead by the end of the last campaign.
Yeah.
Weird.
Imagine that.
Emma somewhere. Shame.
Yeah.
Darn shame what happened to those Tremere.
Anyway.
You
Emma
serpent
might like
bastards.
Samuel, sorta. At least
But-
tolerate.
Uh,
Yeah. Fair.
and there's a little bit of discussion of the other hospitals in town, but like the old Decatur General, which isn't what it's called anymore, but the guys in this room are still calling it that.
Are there any
Yeah.
other blood banks or anything in town aside from the one in our domain?
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. But there's another couple of hospitals, but one of which though is in the very heart of Cam territory. So it's both, it could be a fight getting there, and then even when you got it, you're surrounded, so you'd have to soften up the area. The idea of taking one of the hospitals is very appealing to them. The one by your domain seems like the logical choice because it's already right there on the border.
Yeah.
You would just have to be pushing in a little bit.
You can find a way to weaken them first, and then strike.
Well,
we could always try a bit of subterfuge. That might work.
August brings up the fact that someone's already been somewhat active in that hospital. I believe it's a Malkavian that runs up that is in control there. Someone killed his ghoul and dumped it at your doorstep. And we still don't know who that was.
Yeah, still speculation of someone trying to escalate things a bit more than what we wanted to, but...
We can put ears out and see if there is more unrest than they let on. Use the weakness against them.
Rat speaks up. That's something we might be able to focus on. And when he says we, he kind of gestures to Walter. I have my network, and I'm aware that Walter's been building up his.
Oh yes, of course. Again, the strong underground network of eyes and ears around the city is a wonderful thing. I mean, again, we could probably try to do a little subterfuge, maybe see if we can't hack a few emails, see if there's some distress going on, see if there might be some potential spot to exploit, as it were.
Rat nods. He goes, now do keep in mind, the Camarilla do not use emails and such as much as we do.
Oh, they don't, but their ghouls still have to do so, to continue to talk with the kind, of course.
Well, that's true. As far as their kind businesses are concerned, you may have a point there.
Oh yes, I highly doubt the camo actually using emails, but that doesn't mean that the people that actually have to work in there is not. They're just as good of a leverage point as the kindred.
Okay. Well, we probably need to be wrapping up soon. So, is there any other business y'all want to bring up, or is it just going to be? Is the rest of this meeting just going to be discussing the particulars of your cooperation?
Emma's gonna look over. Do we want to bring up the Bali? She's not gonna say
No,
Bali.
not right now. That would cause a stir.
Yeah.
Ooh, but
Cross
does Matic want to bring it up?
I don't know.
Yeah, because he knows about it and August knows about it.
That's up to storyteller.
Yeah. Those are
Interestingly,
NPCs,
Matic stays silent about it.
Oh, how convenient. Good for him. Smart man.
And August is unaware anything's gone on. Well, he knows something's gone on because it's his flunkies need to talk to him after the meeting, but he doesn't have any of the details yet. So the meeting, you discuss some of the particulars. The meeting starts to wind down. Several of the barons compliment you all on this ideal. Lillian is particularly pleased. She's like, you may be the kick in the pants that the anarchs around here have needed to get refocused on the mission. August slaps Kyle on the back. So glad you're already showing us that giving you a barony was the right thing to do. And when he says that, Matic kind of gives you all a nod as August is saying that. He didn't say anything. He gives an approving nod though as the party breaks up, or the meeting breaks up.
You're a regular Theo Bell. I don't say that out loud. I'm just.
So y'all walk back out into the main room. There's a little bit of tension there.
With entourages.
Several members, several of the barons have members of their entourage kind of quickly step up to her and start whispering to her. And some of the barons kind of turn and look at y'all. Maddox just kind of walks by with a smirk on his face. It would seem news of the commotion has gotten out.
It's bound to happen.
Well, good night, everyone. And him and his entourage just walk out off to the elevator and down.
Okay, bye.
Cater typically gets pinned on us.
Yeah. It was
Correctly or
bound-
not.
It was
Listen.
bound to happen, Emma, and you know it.
Cologne seems to take the news. Now Lillian and Saul, they don't have any other entourage with them, so they just go to look around at everybody else being tense, and leave. Clint has a very sour look on his face, though. Right outside my domain. Been nice to have known about that ahead of time. Or at least right after it happened. I thought tonight was all about clearer lines of communication.
Considering it happened less than an hour ago.
We had a meeting 5 minutes ago.
Meeting
Could have
was
mentioned it then.
important.
He just sort of huffs and walks out.
Emma rubbing her bridge of her nose. Oh, go around to the Barony's tomorrow and make nice.
Heavy is the head.
Now the the 3 outer barons, they're all just kind of. It was a commotion like the opposite side of the domain or the city from them, so y'all can handle it.
So far, only one pissed off Barony. It's fine.
Yeah, we know.
Hey, 1 out of like 16 is pretty good.
My phone's got an alert going off.
I can kind of hear when he clicked the mic.
My phone's behind me charging, so I have no idea what's up.
The aliens.
So anyway, y'all are heading out now, and we will wrap there as y'all are leaving the opera house.
Finally getting a rest.
Oh no,
I'll take a nap.
you forget. Next week is the 4th episode of this little block.
Shit.
So it's going to be like the conclusion of this little story arc.
Hey, we're gonna find out where the bus went, guys.
Yes, you are.
The Venga best
Fantastic.
So I hope y'all had fun. I enjoyed this one. Happy we had a couple people come by in the chat. Hope anybody watching or comes by and watches later enjoyed it. Hope you show up next week. If you're looking for more gaming here on Dire Bear, check the schedule below. We have other games going on. Can't think of anything else we need to talk about. So again, I was your storyteller for the evening, Jason. And with me was Jeremy as a GDO, Sarah as Emma, Eric as Kyle, and Duba as Walter. And we will see y'all next week.
Bye.